Alright, so I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. UConn versus USC just happened last night as the time I'm recording it. I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on the game, and I thought it was a great game. You know, USC, UConn, two very good teams. Obviously, Juju Watkins is not there for USC, and that kind of really hurt them. But what also hurt them is that Kiki Irfan, who was supposed to be their second best player outside of Juju Watkins and was now their best player on that floor, didn't show it. The past two games did not show what she was supposed to be, and that's a top 5 projected WNBA pick. She didn't show it at all, and I was very disappointed because she had 31 against Mississippi State. Now, granted, you know, majority of that game was like the first half. Majority of the first half was with Juju, but still that second half she was without Juju, and she still scored 31. I'm thinking, oh, she's gonna go off against Kansas State. Didn't happen. Right? Last time she had a bad game, she just came out and scored a double-double. So I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna go off against UConn. Didn't happen. She scored 10 points, 6 rebounds, and went 3 of 15 from the field. Last two games, and she's a senior too, and she was looking against the likes of Sarah Strong and Jonna Olafi, who, mind you, are both freshmen. As a senior, Kiki, I felt underwhelmed by Kiki's performance. I thought she was going to dominate. And I told anyone who would be willing to listen to me that in order for USC to actually win this game, Kiki has to score 30 plus. Avery Howell has to play like she did last game. Kendi Smith has to play like they did last game. Everyone has to play like they did last game, and they played hard, they played tough, they were scoring. You know what I mean? They were making tough buckets, and the only one who really showed up for that USC team was Raya Marshall, number 13. She had 23 and 15. She was literally the only constant, scorer on that team. And when one player is scoring 23 and only only 2 other people scoring double digits, and they both scored 10 points, that's not a winning formula. Especially when you look on the other side with UConn. Sarah Strong had 20, Chin had 15, Paige Beckers had 30. They had, and Addie Fudd, who was pretty bad throughout the whole entire game. You know, she did have a couple of threes, she did have a layup, she scored 8 points, but still, like when their squad is more like balanced, you know what I mean, they're scoring, it's not a recipe for success for your team. I thought, it was a good game. There were times where USC looked like they were going to win because they went on at one point in the third quarter, it was like a 14-point game because Paige had a couple of threes, UConn's offense was clicking, and then all of a sudden USC just is like a flip switched inside them, and they were like, okay, we need to lock in now. He started getting steals, started getting, points off turnovers and everything. I'm thinking, okay, UConn's in trouble. This game is getting good, and they just could not sustain it, and it was like it was embarrassing. So I'm like, I thought so much of this team, and it's like only to be like kind of let down in a way. You know what I mean? It was a good game. It's just that I just felt underwhelmed by Kiki's performance. She's supposed to be better without Juju on the floor, and it just did not seem that way. So, and yes, I get it. People have bad games, 2 games, but you just can't have a bad game in one of the biggest rounds in March Madness, in the Elite 8. You can have it you can have a bad game in the round of 64 or the round of 32 because it's still early on in March Madness. You can afford to have bad games then. You can afford to have a bad game and the Elite 8 had a chance to go to the Final Four. You can't afford to have that. And that's just what happened. And UConn outscored them. They played better defense, and that's what it really came down to. But obviously USC didn't have Juju Watkins, but they'll be back next year. I was really impressed by Kendi Smith's performance against Paige Beckers because there was a stat that said that and like I think it was for the first half only, but like this still applies, right? On like in the first half, right, when Paige had scored like 11 straight or something like that, on 17, like on the, however many possessions, I think it was like 17 possessions when Kennedy Smith was guarding Paige Beckers, she had 2 points. When anyone else was guarding Paige Beckers in like 11 possessions, something like that, she had 11 points. If that doesn't tell you how good Kenny Smith is at defense, she's 6'1", she's got length, she's got the size, she's, you know, she's got the strength to put up with Paige. And she proved that, because like if that doesn't tell you how good of a defender she was, I don't know. But that she managed to hold Paige Beckers to 2 points in the first half in like 17 possessions. Now, yes, you know, Paige still ended up with like 30 points or something like that, but like still, that doesn't take away the fact that, you know what I mean, like Kennedy Smith made her work for it. You know what I mean? She was flying through screens, she was flying through everything. You know what I mean? But it's like, but also at the same time, it's like Paige is just that good, and she's gonna get hers. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't really stop her. You can hope to contain her, and you know what I mean. Like Kennedy did a damn good job at that. So yeah, but no, I'm with Kennedy. You know, she's gonna progress definitely. A.V. Howe is gonna progress, and they're gonna get Juju Watkins back. Look out for this team in March again, because they will be back in March. I'm sure of it. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the game. I thought Kiki played terribly. She did. And, you know what I mean? She kind of ended out her years as a USC Trojan in a whimper, and you know what I mean? I'm just kind of disappointed. Ryan Marshall, great game. She played good. Just she needed someone else to help her out though. But yeah. So thank you for listening. I'm gonna try, you know, posting more consistently on TikTok. You're gonna be hearing a lot from me in terms of the Final Fours and college basketball in general, and also the NBA, MLB is starting up again. So yeah, you're gonna hear a lot from me. So yeah. So until next time, peace.